After losing their last two series, are the Arizona Diamondbacks cooked? Is it time to wrap up the 2025 season? We have our guy Dalton Feely here to bring the good vibes, and we're going to talk about Geno's 4 home run game and Corbin Carroll being the fastest man alive in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of this ship around here. And of course, I am here with some of my favorite people to talk about baseball. And of course, here it is, the end of April. So we're going to talk about if the Diamondbacks, even though they have a winning record, we're going to talk about if they're cooked. We're going to talk about if it's time to wrap it up. Of course, I got my guy, large intimate Kevin Thomas on the ones and twos today. Kevin, happy Monday to you, sir. How you doing?
Feeling oozy today.
You feeling oozy?
Feeling oozy.
Yeet. All right. Well, we got another guy joining us as well to talk about a little snake ball. It's the one and only Dalton Feely from Jomboy. Dalton, glad to have you here, sir. Looking great. Is this the news place, or where are you at the office? Where are we at?
Currently at the office. So
Okay.
Last time I was here, new place set up. Right now, I'm in basically the tech room of the office.
All right.
Because the studios are being used.
I will admit I have been jealous of Jomboy many times in my life, but no more so than seeing the Simpsons clip this morning. I lost my mind over that. That is an incredible feat, and what a way to be forever immortalized in pop culture like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was kept pretty under wraps. I didn't know about it until fairly recently, and then they made an announcement like a little while ago, like a couple days ago, a week ago, whatever. So that was really cool to see. Breakdown of a cartoon.
It's awesome. By the way, this show is brought to you guys by our friends at Bet365. Of course, if you haven't downloaded that app yet, go do so right now. Use our code of PHNX365. When you sign up, you get yourself some bonus bets. Go over also to Game Time. Shout out to Game Time for getting us last-minute tickets at the best price. You can sign up there using code PHNX, and you'll get $20 off your first order. Dalton, obviously, it's time to panic. It is time to lose our minds because the Diamondbacks lost 2 out of 3 to the Braves over the course of this weekend. They did manage not to get swept there on Sunday. But, things aren't very happy right now in the Diamondbacks universe, in our fandom right now.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking right now. Losing two to the Braves and Rays this week. I feel like those are two teams in recent history the Diamondbacks have struggled against. I don't know why.
Right.
The Rays,
You're
I
right.
feel like we haven't won a series against the Rays in like half a decade at this point. And the Braves are a good team. I know they've had their struggles to begin the year. That is a good organization. They're going to be a very good team. They're probably going to make the playoffs somehow this year too. So I'm not really too worried about the Braves series. I'm more worried about the in-house stuff, the performances of some guys, the health of some guys.
Yes.
I think that's the bigger concern. Hopefully this travel day, this rest day will be huge because we got a lot of Snakes baseball coming up over the next few days, and that's going to be a true testament to this Diamondbacks roster.
Yes, the Mets are very tough at home. Hopefully you'll get a chance to go see the Diamondbacks and bring some of your good luck, good mojo. Nice. That's good to know. Obviously, yep. Geno had himself a big day on Saturday with his historic 4 home run day. I feel like you're to blame for that somewhat. Maybe we're all to blame because we all got on Geno, I think, on Friday, especially after Friday's game. He was bad defensively. He's been bad offensively. And he seemed to really turn things around on a dime there on Saturday. He's the 7th player in Major League Baseball history, or excuse me, not history. That's a false. Since 1998. In history, there's a million of them. But he's the 7th player since 1998 with a 4 home run game. And he actually becomes not only the 2nd Diamondback to do it since JD Martinez did back in September of 2017. But that was also the last time anybody did it. So the last 2 4-home run games now are from members of the Arizona Diamondbacks franchise, managed by one Torey Lovullo.
Torey. Yeah. And that's a pretty neat fact. Like the last two, these occur less often than perfect games. And we highly regard they're perfect. And it's really impressive that JD did it. And it's been 8 years since JD did it in the September of 2017. The ironic part is Scooter Gennett was I think the second most recent guy prior to Gino, and Gino and him were teammates back in Cincinnati. So just some fun nuggets with the Eugenio Suarez 4-home run game. It's pretty neat.
Is there anything worse, though, than having a player hit 4 home runs for your team and still losing that game? Because I can't imagine anything worse than that.
No, I mean, the Diamondbacks become the third team in MLB history to have a player hit 4 home runs and then lose the game. So not the great side of history at that point. Yeah, I'll admit, Derek, hand up. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter or X. That was the first Diamondbacks game I've missed in the entirety of this season. Was the Saturday Gino 4-home run game. My best friend's birthday. I was out in New York City. We're having some fun, going to karaoke and whatnot. So I was getting the alerts, and I literally. It's like 11:30 my time, and Gino hits the 4th home run against Iglesias in the 9th inning. And I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on in this game? This is the one I decided to miss. This is the first one I missed of the series in the season. But man, an electric performance by Gino. Yeah. Bob and Steve mentioned it on TV. He seemed to start getting it right over the last couple of days in terms of his approach. He really wasn't chasing that low and away breaking ball like he's been doing in the past. He wasn't missing those high fastballs. So the approach was there. And finally, I think we saw the results come in on Saturday where he was hitting everything to Grant Holmes, whether it was a first pitch fastball, first pitch slider, a hanging slider, a 3-2 fastball to tie up a game. Like he was mashing everything. He was seeing the ball really well. And Sunday, I think he made it 9 straight plate appearances reaching base. So he was doing everything over the last couple of games for the Diamondbacks.
Well, and of course, it's not always easy for a player to be struggling and kind of will themselves out of it. But it feels like that. It felt like Friday was rock bottom for Gino. And then again, suddenly you see this resurgence, and it's baseball. So it's never a surprise when this thing happens, especially from a guy that we know is very capable of being one of the best, hitters in baseball. We saw that in the second half of last year and the first week of this season. It's just the dramatic streakiness of it is just never not surprising to me how guys can go from being so dialed in to not being able to hit the ball to now. I mean, even Friday's game, he wasn't bad at the dish. Friday's game was much more about him in the field defensively than it was about his performance, right? But then, Sunday the Diamondbacks bounce back. They have themselves a good day here. They win in the finale. They avoid getting swept, which they've avoided, for the most part this season. Corbin Carroll sets a career best with 2 triples. He's the 11th Diamondback to record 2 triples in a game. And it wasn't just the fact that he was getting those triples, which, I mean, again, he's been doing that a lot lately. He has three triples in his last 3 games, so that's impressive. But, again, it's the way that he's able to stretch what should be a double into a triple. He logged the fastest home to third speed in 2025, 2 of the fastest to home to third speeds in 2025 in one game. One was 10.87 feet per second, and then he posted 11.02 feet per second also in the same game. So Corbin Carroll remains very fast, and I still want to see him and Dre Jameson in another foot race. I just want a fair, documented foot race on a track with officials involved, and I need an actual race between these 2 human beings.
I mean, per sources, it sounded like people from the Diamondbacks said that Dre Jameson would beat Corbin Carroll in a race. We haven't seen it yet to prove the case.
I need proof. I need to see it.
We need to see it. We definitely need to see it. Joe's McFly, by the way, came in, just tried to background me. Yeah,
he's allowed to. He can come in, get him on the mic.
I kicked him out, but he said to me, he's talking to Jolly and I, Mets guy, so boo. He said, He wants the Snakes to sweep them. So he's an honorary Snakes fan, at least for this
All
week.
right.
But
Let's go.
going back to Corbin Carroll and then Dre Jameson, like 3 of the 4 fastest speeds home to third. It's been really impressive. I do have a fun game for you because I want to look it up. I feel like Corbin's been mashing all over this season, but it's really been, especially when he's ahead in accounts. So my question to you, Derek, what do you think his OPS is when he's ahead in counts? Now when he's behind, when he's got a pitcher right on the ropes, what do you think he's batting this year? Take a wild guess.
Somewhere around 1,200?
Let's go 2 times that. 2.694 when he's ahead in the count.
He said, let's go double that. Wow.
Let's go double that.
Let's go, buddy.
The best in baseball. Not even close to being
from
number 1 to number 2. And that's among guys in baseball with 40-plus plate appearances this year. So the sample size doesn't even have to be that big, and he's still crushing it when he's ahead in counts. Right. He has been literally single-handedly keeping the Diamondbacks afloat offensively, especially without Ketel Marte. Yeah. The bright side is the Diamondbacks haven't played a lot of lefties yet, and obviously that's a bigger weakness for Corbin Carroll because he mashes those right-handed pitchers easier when you're a lefty. When Ketel comes back, there'll be some protection to line up the whole way through, but then also versus lefties, Diamondbacks have struggled a little bit. They're number 1 against right-handed pitching for their OPS 821 versus middle of the pack 17th with a 657 versus lefties. So, Corbin's been mashing. I want him to keep it going. I just know lefties are going to be tough for this Diamondbacks lineup.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing about it is that right now, it's been him. It's been Geraldo Perdomo. He had a big home run yesterday. Josh Naylor tied his career high with 2 doubles. And again, these are the guys that are doing it for this team, right? And again, no disrespect to Gino, like you said, he's getting back on track as well. If Lourdes and Gino could not even be as bad as they've been, just league average, you really feel like that would boost the production from the offense quite a bit, at least boost the consistency from the offense, right? I mean, Lourdes Gurriel recorded his first stolen base in yesterday's game in almost a year since he did it in August of last year. And he also has 4 sacrifice flies in April, but not really doing much else. It's a career best, 4 sacrifice flies. But Brandon Pfaadt, really, that's the guy that continues to be impressive, man. I mean, he set a career high with his 5-game winning streak, one of the first pitchers in baseball to get to 5 wins. He is the first D-back to win 5+ consecutive starts since Merrill Kelly did it back in 2023. And the D-backs are 5-1 in his last 6 starts. So he's just been tremendously good. He's been tremendously consistent. He hasn't been giving up that big inning, or at least when he does, he's been able to keep it to a few runs. Like, we're still seeing him be kind of dominant throughout an outing, but having, 1 inning somewhere in there where he struggles a bit. Now it feels like instead of giving up those, the crooked numbers, 3-4 runs, something like that, we're seeing him keep the damage limited and be able to get out of it. Yesterday, he was pretty masterful in the beginning of the game, considering he did not look like he had his best stuff. He had runners on 2nd and 3rd with no outs, and then he somehow gets out of that inning without allowing a run. I just, I can't say enough about how good Brandon Pfaadt has been, and with the pedigree of his teammates in the starting rotation, it's kind of wild that Brandon Pfaadt is the one leading the way.
Yeah, and to add on to your point with Brandon Pfaadt yesterday, 2nd and 3rd no outs, Corbin Carroll. I mean, not to harp on the guy being the most valuable player in baseball currently, but my goodness, he catches the fly ball, throws out for Dugo at the plate. What are we doing? That's amazing. Huge that the play was called out, because I don't know if replay would overturn it, because that was such a bang play. But quite frankly, great job by Corbin to make that play, and then Pfaadt to adapt and get out of the inning without getting a run. He had his struggle in the 7th inning, and then it got a little tight ropey towards the end of the game with the bullpen coming in. Luckily, Shelby holds it to 4-3. But yeah, man, Brandon Pfaadt's been awesome. I think a big stat that goes off of Brandon Pfaadt, his on-base percentage allowed with runners in scoring position, 167. It's the best among qualified pitchers in baseball. So when he's allowing runners on base, he has been lights out. He's been nails. He's not giving up that big hit to opposing teams. And I dare say it, so far he's kind of been the stopper of the Diamondbacks rotation.
Yeah.
Burns, not that he's pitched bad, he's bounced back over the last couple starts, but he hasn't been quite frankly sharp yet. Gallon's had the Yankee game, but he has not been close to sharp since that Yankees game. And then Merrill Kelly and Erod have shown their flashes, but they haven't been super consistent yet. Brandon Pfaadt's been pretty darn consistent. He's, I think, pitched 6 innings in 5 of the 6 starts, and the one start he didn't was versus Miami when he went 5 2/3.
Yeah.
He's
Torrey
been
pulled him
He's been awesome.
just short of that quality start. That was memorable. In his 4 home starts, he's tossed 6 innings and allowed 3 runs or fewer and walked 2 or fewer batters. His 2.78 ERA is the best in his career through 6 starts. He had a 9.82 ERA after 6 starts in 2023, 4.63 ERA there after 6 starts in 2024. So it's like big game Brandon from the playoffs is finally here for the regular season, and it's exciting. And the Diamondbacks needed it because it very much felt like they were going to get swept this weekend against the Braves. Their bullpen has just flat out been bad. It feels like this bullpen has just been in disarray since that Cubs game, that first game of the Cubs series at Wrigley. It feels like everything has just fallen apart for this bullpen since then. It's kind of back to the old, like, no matter who's really pitching well, when put into high leverage situations, they don't seem to really be able to be as, I guess, lights out as we've seen guys so far this season. And it kind of sucks because it goes right back to the Diamondbacks not really having everything working at the same time. Again, starting pitching is getting better, but it's still a bit of an issue for this team. We're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. But before we go to break, let's take a look at the numbers from this series presented by Desert Financial, because, again, here shows why the Diamondbacks lost this series pretty much is they get outscored by the Braves 20-15. The Diamondbacks out-hit the Braves in home runs 3-5. Diamondbacks had more home runs, runners in scoring position. Braves had 10 more opportunities. Didn't do a great job of taking advantage of them, but again, 13 for 37. Diamondbacks 7 for 27. Relief pitching ERA, though, really tells the story here. Diamondbacks 7.36 ERA for their bullpen to the Braves 3.48. And then starting pitching for the Diamondbacks wasn't bad. I mean, each guy gave up 3 earned runs or less. You just, again, had the bullpen giving up a lot of runs in these games. And the only one where they gave up 1 earned run or less is the win on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of it's just an erratic situation now with a bullpen that we thought was going to be a strength for this team. It looked very much like a strength early on.
Yeah, and you highlighted the Cubs game. Obviously, that was the big one. The Miami series, how that was mismanaged, that could also be a domino effect to the bullpen struggles. But it's been really bad over the last 2 weeks. Since 2 weeks ago, the Monday the 14th, Diamondbacks have the highest bullpen ERA in baseball, 6.38. That's not going to do it. Prior to the last 2 weeks, if we're starting from the beginning of the year to then, they were ninth with a 3.29 ERA. Like, this bullpen had been pitching really well, but now we are really feeling the effects on no Kevin Ginkel. You have Kendall Graveman coming back from injury as well, hasn't pitched this year. Dre Jameson just came back. Justin Martinez is banged up. AJ Puck's now on the IL. We're feeling the effects of the Diamondbacks bullpen being completely battered and bruised. Hopefully there's another breakout star. Shelby Miller has done a fantastic job at the beginning of the year. Jalen Beeks, outside of that Saturday game, has been nails too, which I will say, Jalen Beeks is not allowed to run since when I watched a Diamondbacks game this year. So basically has a 0.00 ERA in my head. So there's that. But yeah, we need someone to break through in that bullpen, kind of get the momentum back on side, because over the last 2 weeks, it has been brutal.
Ooh. Well, I do have an update here in regards to, I think Ernesto in our chat said, according to Kevin Ginkel's Instagram, he is in fact in New York City today out at Central Park. So looks like we might have a Kevin Ginkel call-up situation while the Diamondbacks are playing the Mets. We also know that there was another guy playing catch out at the park today, one Eduardo Rodriguez, posted this little video of himself enjoying Central Park. We got that? Just having a catch out there at Central Park, enjoying a beautiful day and enjoying baseball. This is amazing.
That's sick.
I think a 12 strikeout day is incoming for Eduardo Rodriguez upon seeing this. I might be jumping entirely too far to conclusions here, but I'm excited for this. How do you not spend a nice day off playing catch in the park? I don't know. I would think baseball players would want to get as far away from any baseball related activity on a day off, but that's just me, I guess.
I mean, some guys are just addicted to the game. They just
They're
love
just
through and
sickos,
through.
real
Just
sickos.
they love playing ball, and you know what? That's so like heartwarming. I wish I knew he was at Central Park. I kind of would have been stalking him a little bit, trying to play some catch.
Right?
Erod, hit me! I want to play! I want to play!
Yeah, go out there with your glove, have a catch. I don't think that's the worst idea at all. But we're going to talk a little bit more about what's wrong with the Diamondbacks right now and if it's time to panic. Hopefully Dalton is ready to say no, but we'll see. I don't know. It might be already time to wrap up the season. We'll talk about it on the other side of this break. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, got to give a shout out to All Pro Shade Concepts. They do a great job with extending outdoor living spaces. And if you are looking to do so before that hot summer heat gets here, now is the time to give them a call for a free estimate. Of course, they have hundreds of designs to choose from, hundreds of colors to choose from, and they can work with your HOA for approvals to make sure that any awning that they add to your home is HOA compliant. They have roll down patio shades, which can block the sun and keep the patio up to 20 degrees cooler. And that includes outdoor or indoor roll down patio shades. They can also replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings. They've been in business for the 20 years right here in the Valley, and they started making window shades by hand for friends and family in Phoenix. Now they do it for everyone. So make sure to give them a call. They are licensed, bonded, and insured. Call them at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate. And of course, if you are interested in this little beauty that I'm wearing on my head right now, you got to check out Branded Bills. Branded Bills and the Dbacks are coming together for a wonderful golf night on Monday, May 5th. It's just around the corner against the New York Mets when they come back into town against the Mets. You can purchase a special ticket package through the special link and receive a game ticket and a limited edition Dbacks rope hat courtesy of Branded Bills. And let me tell you, I love this hat a lot. Of course, you can elevate your brand as well with Branded Bills if you are interested in getting some custom headwear, clothing, shirts, whatever, apparel to make your brand stand apart from the crowd. Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. You can start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They have partnerships with ASU, U of A. They have Suns gear. They have some wonderful Arizona gear as well, which is some of my favorite stuff. And they're a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. So head to brandedbills.com and use that code of PHNX for 20% off your first order. And go do so right now. They have some amazing hats. Can't get this one there, though. This one's special. You can only get that at golf night at Chase Field. So speaking of Chase Field, here, Dalton, the Diamondbacks go on the road. They are not going to be back here for a little bit. They haven't been great at home. They haven't been terrible, but they've been concerning this season. Again, the biggest problem that fans ponder is what even is this team, right? This team this year has shown some fight. They've shown some ability to beat some good teams in baseball, and then they've also had some teams be a problem for them. I think that the Braves, for instance, were a fairly hot team coming into the series. It's something Jesse and I discussed on Friday's episode. And then you see what teams like the Nationals have done, and they've beaten some good teams. This isn't like the teams that the Diamondbacks have lost to that have been really disappointing have been like teams that haven't been capable of winning against teams with an above 500 record. But it just feels lately like we went from the Diamondbacks not losing a series to now them losing 2 in a row with a very, very difficult May coming up ahead.
Yeah, I think it's also been the way the Diamondbacks have lost too, because over the last couple of extra inning games, they have not gone to Diamondbacks' way.
Yeah.
So that has been a struggle too. I feel like every close game, every close bounce has not gone Arizona's way so far, and I think that also adds an extra element of not winning the close games. Like, oh man, it's games we should have won. So I think that puts some weight into it. I think May 15th, and circle this on your calendar, May 15th we'll get way more clarity on what the Diamondbacks, what this team is for 2025, because they have 16 games starting tomorrow in a row, no off day. They've had an off day every Monday, but no more towards the schedule. The schedule monster is now hit. Starting Tuesday, you have 3 at Citi Field. You have 3 at Citizen Bank. You got 3 against the Mets at home. You have 4 against the Dodgers at home. That's a massive series. And then you go to the Bay, take on 3 versus the Giants before that final off day. Those are 4 really good teams and 5 very competitive series. If we want to know what the Diamondbacks are going to be in 2025, let's take a look over the next couple of weeks and see how they play, because the competition level is now going to take even a step further. This is going to be a true test.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 4 with the Mets in the month of May overall. You got 3 with the Phillies, 7 with the Dodgers, 3 with the Giants, 3 with the Cardinals. And then again, some other teams that you can't overestimate because they've been able to beat some, good teams as well. We just saw what the Pirates were able to do against the Dodgers, at least in one of those games. And
Right.
in general, give them some trouble, right? Like the Diamondbacks so far have proven that they can't overlook the teams that you might write off as a win on the schedule because those are the teams so far that they haven't beaten, to be honest. But starting pitching really feels like it's been the big problem for this team. We've talked about it quite a bit this year. We know how erratic Zach Gallen has been. We know what you're going to get out of Eduardo Rodriguez. Thankfully, Brandon Pfaadt has been better than we could have imagined him being. But, so far it's been fairly disappointing, especially the combination of Zach Gallen and Corbin Burnes. And overall, this starting pitching ERA right now is 4.21 this season, which it ranks in the bottom 20 of baseball, or, bottom 10 of baseball. You also have the fact that it's very close to what their starting pitching ERA was last year at 4.79 to end the season. And I think that's the part that makes me want to scream, despite the fact I obviously don't have much voice left. Dalton, I just can't believe after all of this, after the nightmare that was the Diamondbacks pitching situation last year, that here we sit in a very similar position. And it's just kind of, it's confounding. It's infuriating. In fact, I mean, they have a new pitching coach. They added Corbin Burnes. Everybody's healthy. What is going on with this starting pitching staff?
Yeah, and I mean, I think the most frustrating thing about this Diamondbacks rotation is that the assets have been put into this rotation. It's not like it's a bandaged rotation that's struggling and you're just like, hey, go out and play. Like, no offense, there are teams in Major League Baseball that throw some guys out there and it's like, hey, you're going to go on this hill and give us 5, and whether you give us 0 runs or 9 runs allowed, you're going to go give us 5 innings and we need you to pitch. Diamondbacks, they've invested into this starting rotation, and that's been the struggle because it's been a letdown. You pay up Corbin Burnes $210 million this offseason. You give Monty just $25 million over the last 2 seasons. Erod gets an $80 million deal. Brandon Pfaadt gets an extension. Obviously, he's been the best pitcher so far. Gallen's on a contract year. You kind of expect a guy on a contract year to pitch his best baseball. In fact, we've seen his worst, arguably. And then Merrill Kelly is probably one of the most cost-friendly deals on the roster, and he's been pretty consistent outside of this year. What's been the struggle is no one's looked completely sharp yet, and I just feel like when the Diamondbacks hit the 2 strikes, they're not able to put guys away. And it's been I kind of did some research for Talking Baseball on this. Gallen's been a big nibbler. Erod, too, has been, when he gets a heading counts, he's struggled trying to find his strike zone. And the stat that really stood out, and we're going to see it over the series, the Diamondbacks rotation have allowed 12 home runs on 2 strike counts. That's the most in baseball. Only one other team has allowed 10, and that's the Angels. So that's not great. Not a great group to be in.
No.
Mets, who we play this series, you know how many they've allowed? 0, the best in baseball. So that's going to be the stat to watch this series. Can the Diamondbacks defend their at-bats with 2 strikes, and can the pitchers put guys away? They have not been able to do it, and I don't know what it is. I think Burnes' cutter's finally back. Erod has shown some flashes. Merrill's shown some flashes. Pfaadt's been a dog. Gallen, I don't know. I'm hoping something clicks for him. I'm worried. I don't know. Is it a red light flashing for you? Orange light? How you feeling about it?
I mean, I think I still have this odd level of patience because it's just April and this team has made changes, right? Having a new pitching coach in Brian Kaplan that's going to bring in new philosophies and new ways of preparing starting pitchers for the team they're facing, game planning is going to be new. I just think deep down inside, I've always kind of wondered what went wrong with Brent Strom, right? Brent Strom is one of the most respected pitching coaches in all of baseball. And it seemed like his firing wasn't just letting him go because of the poor performance of the starters. It felt like it was a disconnect with the starting pitching staff and maybe even some of the relievers. It's understandable a bit due to the age of some of those players, right? Versus the age of someone like Brent Strom. But for the most part, the feedback has always been that Strom was a good communicator and that he had a great integration of kind of old school methods with new school analytics, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have one of the most respected pitching coaches kind of, again, I'm not saying he was blamed for it, but I mean, how else can you put it when you say the pitching coach is fired. He's taking some responsibility, some blame for how bad the staff is. And now this year, the staff is just as bad, but this year they're healthy. This year they added, a Cy Young winner, right? This is a different staff, and this staff should be much better than what we saw out of last year. So again, I'm confused by it. I'm confused by the lack of success. I'm confused by how these starting pitchers that, are good elsewhere can come to this team and just be not bad, but even mediocre, right? Bad is Jordan Montgomery last year. I would say Corbin Burns is better than average, but it's like you just don't really feel like you're getting those pitching performances you were going to get out of adding this ace to your staff. So I'm still not super concerned, because I still feel like a lot of it, just like the defense is growing pains, right? But the defense has been so bad that at times, I truly wonder are they going to get back to being as sharp as they were, or is a part of that component gone from this team now in Christian Walker? And because he's gone, we're not going to see this team be as sharp defensively at all without his presence over there at first base. I think that it could be a factor that impacts even some of these pitching numbers for the starters, right? Because Christian Walker, again, was such a lock over there at first base that he helped to make these pitchers look good because of his ability to be so good defensively, right? We talked about this team right now is not making those really good plays that we're used to seeing them make. Well, that could be the difference maker in, the starting pitching staff struggling as well. We kind of relied on them being not just good defensively, but kind of outstanding defensively. And they're not that this year. So I feel like that's kind of a cascading effect on everything else.
I completely agree. I think that was like the most articulate and eloquent rant I've heard ever. And I ditto everything you just said, because you're 1000% right. And the defensive identity the Diamondbacks had, the chaos ball identity they had in 2023, it's kind of faded and taken a back seat towards adding some power and pop and some veterans into this roster. And the one note I would like to add on the fielding component of it is that Corbin Burns, his strike, it was a big talking point this entire offseason that his strikeout rate was down year over year over year, and he's become more of a ground ball pitcher. When you're facing a cutter, you can jam those lefties, the righties. If it's going away from them, they're going to hit it opposite field, and you have a vacuum at first base and Christian Walker. No disrespect to Josh Naylor whatsoever. Right. It's more so Christian Walker was that good. That's why it's that big of a difference. And so this whole defensive identity, losing a guy like Christian Walker at first base, does play a dramatic role, because also we don't know everything behind the scenes. He could have been a veteran leader within doing infield drills and like helping guys out. We've seen him countless times picking balls, whether it was for Gino or Perdomo last year, where if they're trying to make a throw, they're in a hurry. 99.9% of the times, Christian Walker's going to pick something for them. So I think you're so right, and that hopefully that the identity, someone takes charge like a Perdomo that can help unify this group. I don't know what it would take or who will do it, but something has to happen, because this defense has not been nearly as sharp over the last couple of seasons.
Hopefully it's Ketel when he returns, right? And we know that that's imminent.
Right.
Hopefully he should be back here. Our estimate has him being back around the start of that Mets series here at Chase Field, I think May 5th. So we need him back. Ketel was playing in a backfield game, and he hit 2 home runs in that game. And I was like, what are we doing? Get him up here. Get him back here immediately, right? The guy looks ready to go.
Yeah.
So everything is trending in the right direction for Ketel. Maybe his offense and defense can both help, both sides of the ball kind of have some consistency here. But of course, he's the MVP of this team.
Yeah, and I think my one thing I do want to say, like to urge for caution a little bit, is that it's a muscle injury, it's a lower leg injury, it's a hamstring. I kind of hope they ease him back defensively at second base and let him get some reps at DH. I know that could take some time away from Pavin and Randall Grichuk in the DH slot, but Tim Tawa has done a pretty good job after the first week of him getting MLB experience, playing second base and getting acclimated with the professional level. I kind of want Ketel, make sure your legs are 100% underneath you. Because, yes, we need his bat versus lefties especially, but I don't want to see him make a diving play at second base and then re-aggravate something.
Yeah. Connor Mormon in the chat says Jack Summers reported Ketel is going to play in Philly, so that is good news. It's a little bit ahead of schedule. But again,
one series earlier.
They said less than 2 weeks a few days ago. So, of course, it's just great to have him back. Of course, it's always great to have Dalton Feely here. Make sure to follow him. Thank you, of course, for your time, buddy. Thank you for loving this team because we need it right now. Follow him on Twitter.
You're right.
He's at dfeely14. Also, make sure to check him out. He's the Warehouse Games MVP, an absolute stud out there. So appreciate you stopping by, buddy. We'll see you maybe next Monday.
Let's go. I appreciate it. Always love being on. So I'll see you next Monday.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Excuse me, I'm about to die here. Again, don't go hang out in a pool during WrestleMania weekend, folks. That's one recommendation I can make. But yeah, no, it's not the best idea. We're going to take a quick break, but on the other side of this break, we are going to get to the mailbag and answer your questions. And of course, thanks again to Dalton Feely. He's the man. Appreciate him for stopping by. You guys are wonderful for sending your mailbag questions and for being here. And again, thank you so much. We will be back in 2 minutes. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Of course, you can visit any one of their 4 locations right here in town. And let me tell you, staycations might be my best form of vacations. You got to experience the best the Valley has to offer at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can go all in on over 4,500 slots and live table games. And let me tell you, their tables far more updated, far more advanced than the tables I saw in Las Vegas. So got to give a shout out to Gila River for being at the forefront of cool new designs, including I love their roulette table that has the numbers projected down on the table. A lot of cool stuff to be found over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And even if you're not interested in that side, you can stay at their wonderful resort side. Go hang out by the pool, get yourself a frosty beverage. Of course, it's going to be hot. It's a great place for you to go spend some time. And most importantly, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. And if you are going on vacation, even on a staycation, make sure to stop by Circle K wherever you're going. It is America's thirst stop, and you can join the Inner Circle right now for free and save yourself all sorts of money. You get your first 5 Polar Pops for absolutely free. You'll save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, then you'll save 3 cents per gallon every day after that, plus plenty of other member exclusive deals and discounts in the app. By the way, May 6th is the Circle K Big Giveaway. Customers can enter to win prizes, cash, and more. All you got to do to enter is visit circlek.com/big-giveaway. But most importantly, make sure you join the Inner Circle for free right now by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And let me tell you, it is the place to go for gas, especially on their Inner Circle fuel days. We'll make sure to get you the next round of those as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Budget your gas accordingly and make sure you can get there. It's kind of like NASCAR, where you got to make sure you get enough gas to get to your next pit stop, right? So we'll let you know on the Inner Circle fuel days. But today is not an Inner Circle fuel day, Kevin. Today is Monday. And even though every year is our year on this show, and every month on this show is Black History Month, and every month on this show is Women's History Month, and every month on this show is Black Women's History Month, we also have the fact that every week is Shark Week, and every day is Earth Day, which we were at Earth Day, and I didn't say the Earth Day, and that's a tremendous. That was that was a big slight to Earth Day, considering how often I say that. But today is Monday, and you know what we do on Monday. Every single Monday, we go to the mailbag. Kevin, let's go to the mailbag.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox, and then once in a while, there's a letter that makes me go, wow, wow, my mailbox.
All right, what do we got in the mailbox today, Kevin?
First up, from Travis Moore, how can we fix Zach Gallen?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think Zach Gallen honestly is on his way to being fixed. I think obviously getting ahead in the count and throwing more first count strikes. That seems big for him. I think that his fastball command has been off. There's things that Zach Gallen can do to get back to being Zach Gallen, and I don't think he's that far off from it. I just can't help but wonder, about the impact that a new pitching coach has on the staff and how much time it takes for, again, as I described earlier, those philosophies those pitching methods, the ideas that he wants to incorporate, can impact guys that already have a routine or already have what they're doing, going on over here. And now they have to kind of mesh what a new coach is trying to get them to do over here into one, right? So I don't know the impact that Kaplan is having on these guys. But what I can say is that Zach Gallen is still Zach Gallen. Realistically, I think Zach Gallen needs to just be more aggressive and attack the zone. And it really does feel like at times, much like you could say about Torrey and other problems with this team, the base running perhaps, and maybe some of the lack of, creating that chaos on the base path is all about just having some intrepidation, some fear, some lack of, wanting to be aggressive and wanting to attack, right? And, saying screw the results, screw if you get out. You were pressing the action. You were doing things to, be aggressive on the base path, be aggressive in the strike zone, right? So I think getting ahead in the count is going to help Zach a lot. And so far, that's what we've seen him struggle with so far this season. Fastball command, getting ahead in the count. Those two things are related to each other. And again, I think Zach is still Zach, right? It's really just about him getting back in a groove this season. I don't think that there's anything medically wrong with him. And I think he has all the motivation in the world for this to be the most important season of his entire career. Perhaps that's it, right? I mean, at times I really do feel like pressure can negatively impact baseball players more than perhaps any other sport, right? And that could be both at the plate and on the mound. I think that there is more pressure on Zach than there's ever been, not only with the expectations for this season for the Diamondbacks as a team, but for him personally in regards to this being, his walk season and being a free agent after this year. So there's that. And Tanner says his fastball is getting crushed. There's also that too. So maybe all three things are related, because if your fastball is getting crushed, you probably don't want to throw it in the zone as much or be as aggressive with it. So, and it's, again, it's about velocity. It's about a lot of things, but I do think that he's going to get back on track. I'm fairly confident about that. And no, it's not because I called him the milkman. Was that right that time?
I think you said it right that time.
That's how I normally say the word milk. I don't know why. No. All right. What else we got?
Next up, JJ says, could you rate your personal stress level 0 to 10 when each Diamondback starting pitcher is on the mound?
Honestly, this might be a bit surprising. So, yeah, let's go in the order from highest stress level to lowest stress level. Eduardo Rodriguez stresses me out the most. It's like a 9. And I think, again, the reason why is because Eduardo Rodriguez can go out there and have 13 strikeouts and still somehow give up 8 runs, right? Eduardo Rodriguez, again, you know what you're going to get out of him a lot of times, but I feel like deep down inside, Erod is a much better pitcher than we've even seen him for the Diamondbacks, at least consistently. You just don't know what you're going to get out of him, yet it just feels like at any point he can be completely dialed in and be outstanding, yet we don't really get that out of him, right? So I guess Erod is a 9, then Zach Gallen would be right under him at an 8. I would put Burns right about a 5 as far as stress level is concerned. Burns doesn't really stress me out, but the results kind of stress me out. And I think, like many of you, I want to see the return on investment for the Diamondbacks pay off. I want to see Corbin Burns go out there. Even if he's losing a game, I want it to be because the bullpen got shelled or he didn't get any run support and loses in a 2-1 game. I don't want to see Corbin Burns go out there and be giving up 4 runs. I don't, again, these are the things that make, I think, all of us feel like the Diamondbacks can never have anything nice in free agency, that we can't really bring you can't bring one of the best pitchers in baseball to our team and have him continue to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. That's what I would like. But again, when I look overall at the results for Corbin Burns, I'm still not that upset about it. I'm still very patient with him. Meanwhile, Merrill Kelly is probably a 2 and Brandon Pfaadt right now is a 1. I am so confident the Diamondbacks are going to win when Pfaadt is on the mound that it's a surprise if they don't. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Peyton wants to know where the cactus light is. I'm not telling you, Peyton. And again, you might never see it again. Again, you guys gotta relax about the Cactus Light, okay? Cactus Light is not the star of the show. You guys aren't even bringing up where LG3 is on this episode. And quite frankly, I don't know where he is either. I'm upset. Did you leave him in Studio A? You did, didn't you? Oh, man. I'm upset. What else we got? Let's go on. Gotta go to the next question.
Next up, Ed says, what grade are you thinking the D-backs deserve for this month of the season? Better yet, why this grade?
Oh, Ed, I'll give you both. First of all, I will give them I can't give the Diamondbacks anything better than a C for this month. I think that while they have shown that no lead is safe from them coming back, that they've been able to score runs late, and they've been still able to score runs in bunches like they were able to do last year, they have found new ways to lose games. And I think that it's pretty demoralizing at times for your team to be able to come back, for your team to be able to hold the lead up until late, and then lose baseball games. And so far, that's what we've seen. Some of these extra innings losses, and just in general, some of these games where the Diamondbacks weren't able to come back and then hold on to that comeback has been frustrating. But again, there's been a lot of positives this month so far. I think that the record is disappointing. If the record was a little bit better, then maybe we could be talking about more of a B- perhaps. But I can't give this team anything better than a C, and if not, it'd probably be lower than that. Corbin Carroll is been a tremendous highlight so far. Pavin Smith, Josh Naylor. There's been some very good things going on with this team. Brandon Pfaadt deserves his credit for that as well. It's still one of those things that I think at the end of this month, it's hard not to look back at some of these losses and scratch your head about how they even happened. So a lot of you guys are suggesting C as well. Ernesto says C- on the account on blowing 2 historical moments in baseball. Yep, I agree with you on that. Ryoma says blowing winnable games one after another is pretty bad, C-. So, yep, I'm with you guys on that. What else we got? We got one more, and then we'll go to a break.
Next, Tyler Sissel wants to know, Mailbag Monday, does Brandon Pfaadt enter MLB's discussion as an NL Cy Young candidate by the end of the year? Tied most wins by NL pitcher thus far, his ERA continues to trend down.
My answer is yes. And I think Brandon Pfaadt at this point has become like an elite version of himself that we haven't seen so far. I talked about his ERA through his first, through his first 6 starts, but realistically, there has been a slow maturation for Pfaadt, and I think what we're seeing now is him finally be the pitcher that a lot of people projected him to be. Again, he's probably better than we could have hoped for this season. He has been by far the best part of the Diamondbacks starting rotation. And it's hard not to consider him when, once again, you look at his teammates that are also part of the starting rotation and have him as the standout. Now, it's going to be difficult because there's going to be a lot of good pitchers in Major League Baseball this season, but it's hard to imagine that there are, it's hard to imagine that Brandon Pfaadt can't be in that conversation, right? The consistency is there. His ability to just be this very calm individual and stay calm under pressure is going to help him, especially as you get more pressure on him, right? As he continues to perform, those expectations are going to be there, and they're just going to increase. So I think if there's anybody I've seen that's capable of handling those expectations, it's Brandon Pfaadt. Definitely could be a dark horse there, but I don't even know. Again, I would take over one guy being necessarily a Cy Young candidate. I would take this entire starting rotation getting back right and being what at least we've seen them all be at one point in their career, right? So I guess I would make that sacrifice. But as far as his teammates go, Brandon Pfaadt definitely looks like a Cy Young contender right now.
What would you have set the odds at preseason? If I had told you, like we were doing like a Bet365 prop of like which D-back is most likely to win the NL Cy Young, what would the odds have been for Gallen, Burns, and then Pfaadt? Yeah,
Pfaadt would have been like plus 2,000. Burns would have been like plus maybe 500. I still wouldn't have expected like a Cy Young bid out of Burns, but I would have expected him to be the guy that definitely had the best. I think it'd be closer to like
best odds. I think it'd be lower than 500 if you're just picking which player from the team would be closest to have the run. It'd be like plus 120 for Burns, right?
Yeah, probably. If you're just talking about Diamondbacks players, he would probably be more in the plus 120. Gallen probably a little bit above 500, and Pfaadt distant there. I mean, I might even put Merrill Kelly above Pfaadt, but anyway, we got more Mailbag Monday questions to get to on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, I love some Pure Edibles. I just had a chance to do a little taste test on their berry sleep edition edible yesterday, and it was tremendous. They have said that the kicks taste like Starburst. I will counter that they are more like a now and later, but regardless of how much candy or what candy you love, there's a good chance that Pure Edibles has something for you. They're a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, kicks, chews, which are soft candies like caramels, and hard candies as well. They are not covered in sugar like all of their competitors. Their effects are clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what to expect. And again, there wasn't any missing it on this one. It had a little moon sleep edition. It was telling me that when I take this one, it's time to go night-night. And I'll tell you, I did. It's a great night's sleep, and you can get one too with Pure Edible Sleep Edition. They also have mood-enhancing, uplifting effects. And again, all of that is listed right on the tin. They were created in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary, and they are made right here in Phoenix, Arizona. So go check them out right now. You can find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And we have some big news from Sanderson Ford. We actually have some big news from David Kimmerly, president of America's most awarded Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford. Ford just announced their From America for America employee pricing, where now you will pay what they pay on the full line on new Fords with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense, and no added markups. That's another important part, because employee pricing levels of the playing field for all Ford dealerships, they're all offering it. But what you'll get at Sanderson Ford is no markups. You'll get no add-ons. Sanderson Ford won't do that to you. They have the inventory and a 70-year reputation of customer service, and Ford is undeniably the most America First automaker in the world. So now is the best time to buy a new Ford with the From America for America employee pricing. Does exclude 2025 Expedition, 2025 Super Duty, Raptors, Mustang, and Bronco specialty vehicles. And if you do head out there, don't miss having lunch at the Starliner Diner. You'll thank me later. All right, we got some super chats before we get to the questions. What we got here, Kev? Piece of Yoshi says, can we discuss the doing of the wave while Shelby Miller was fighting for his life? I am notoriously anti-wave just in general. Even in a ballpark with a pool in it. I am anti-wave. I'm anti-wave. I don't want to participate. I don't want to be forced to participate in your little game, Kevin. You're not forced. You are absolutely forced. There is public scrutiny and pressure being applied to you as you sit in your seat. Like as if you were somebody that was opposing the anthem and refused to stand up. You know, it's on that same level of people giving you the stink eye and being like, why isn't this guy doing it? What, does he hate America? Same thing with the wave. You don't stand up and throw your arms in the air. They're like, this guy must hate America.
You can sit down and throw your arms in the air.
No, you can't. Because that's half-assing it. And I refuse to participate in anything where I half-ass it. I'm going to full-ass it, or I'm not doing it at all. And I'm not standing up. I have a beer in my hand. I was having a good conversation with my friends. Now I have to monitor this and keep this in my eye rate. Not to mention, he's right. We're doing this while Shelby Miller is out there fighting for his life. The other day, I saw the most pathetic wave I've ever seen in my life, Kevin. It was awful. I couldn't believe it kept going on. There was an entire section of empty seats, and somehow the wave kept making through that section over to the other section, and it was nonsense. Ban the wave.
People in the chat agree with you, Derek, for the most part, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. Candace says, what do we do? Hiss like snakes? Yeah, we all bring our little rattles, and we rattle our rattles. That's an intimidating sound. If everybody in that stadium had those little snake rattles and we were all shaking them at the same time, yeah, that's going to get in the opposing pitcher's head, 100%. All right, what else we got? Let's get back to the mailbag. I'm fired up now.
Next up, Corbin Carroll enthusiast wants to know, when do you expect the Dbacks City Connect jerseys to finally, mercifully, I'll add, be released?
Never. They're never coming out. They're never being released. No, I mean, we know, of course, talked about it. The Diamondbacks have a set date for them to debut their new purple City Connect jerseys. And yes, I said that out loud on the field. But the problem has been the fact that there are still two more teams that need to officially debut their jerseys. And I have not seen that happen yet. From my understanding, those two teams have games where they are going to debut those jerseys very soon coming up. I believe it's both the Miami Marlins and the Boston Red Sox. It feels like at this point that the debuts are going to take place very close to the game itself, where they are supposed to wear them. So I don't know, man. I still put it around May 5th, but that was also my date for Ketel Marte coming back. So I don't know. At this point, it's got to be before May 9th. What I can say with great confidence is that the supply of Arizona Diamondbacks City Connect merchandise, Kevin and chat, it has arrived.
Oh.
It is there. It's ready. It's ready to be taken out of boxes. It's ready to go up on shelves, and it's ready to totally invade your wallet and your credit card, because let me tell you, it's going to be here soon. I was actually joking with one of you in the chat because I'm pretty certain that at one point the Diamondbacks had the new hat from their City Connect jerseys just being sold on the shelf. It might have been a slight variation of it, but I am 100% sure. I know that Espo sent me a T-shirt of of kind of some merch that looked very much like the City Connect jersey. So like, I feel like maybe some of it was hiding in plain sight again, and then not.
Do you think it was like inspiration? Like, do you think they saw that design and was like, that's what we should do?
I'm 100% certain that a hat that's very close to what the final hat is going to be, people own and was available last season. Not just this year, last year. Because, the purple stuff started to pop up. They started to have variations of it. Tanner wants to know if it's purple. Yes, it's purple. I'm just throwing out. What are the details you guys want to know? I'll spill the beans on this show. Why not? No, I won't, because then I'll probably get in trouble with somebody. I don't like long phone calls. And Saul Bookman already called me in the middle of the show, and I'm just sitting here nervously wondering what that was about. But anyway, yeah, we have not a lot of time left. So again, at this point, the Diamondbacks will be releasing it within the next 2 weeks. You guys will all see it, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did. What else we got?
Next up, Yoshi wants to know, was anyone else cackling when the primary camera broke on the broadcast yesterday, or was that just me?
It was not just you, but it was also another sad event that made me just wonder, like, how long can we last with this current equipment and stuff in the stadium? I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty funny. And honestly, speaking as people that do a live show, you got to roll with the punches. So as much as I thought it was funny, I probably wasn't cackling, because I tend to feel bad for the people that have to figure out how to continue to broadcast a baseball game without their main camera. But yeah, it wasn't great. For those of you watching on TV, by the way, we're going to keep this show rolling over on gophnx.com. So of course, come join us over there. We got a few more Mailbag Monday questions to get in before we get out of here. So what else we got, Kevin?
Hanley wants to know, what are your sense of the vibes in the locker room? Is the power of friendship still alive?
Yeah, I would say so. I haven't seen anything that would indicate otherwise. I think that the vibes aren't probably as high as they are when they're winning or things are rolling their way. However, Kevin and I were talking about before the show how with doing this show, with Kevin doing the 2 shows he does, you kind of start to hear some of the things that Tori says, and it gets into your head, and you start to realize how, I guess, how profound it is for us that do this show, right? We come here some days I'm good. Some days, as you guys know, I'm not good. I'm very, very bad. Words don't come out of my mouth correctly. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with me when I'm hosting this show, right? But we still have to come out here. We have to do this show, and then we have to do it again tomorrow, right? And so I think that one thing that's the vibe with the Arizona Diamondbacks is that you don't really see them get too high on the wins. Like, yeah, when they win, the music is blaring in the clubhouse, but you're not exactly seeing guys, high-fiving and jumping around or doing anything crazy, right? This is a fairly even-keeled team, because over the course of a 162-game season, it's you can't really get too high on the highs or too low on the lows, right? So I do think that the power of friendship is very much alive. I've seen these guys still hanging out together outside of games and still doing stuff together. So I just think that realistically, it's weird, right? We as fans sometimes don't even want to see them having a good time if they are losing, right? Have you ever had that where you see somebody just smiling or laughing too much in the dugout?
Bradley Beal this season.
Yeah, Bradley Beal is a great example of that, right? But again, as a baseball player specifically, right? 162 games, you can't let these losses weigh on you mentally and have it, impact your mental health and have you just moping around over it. You're never going to get out of it with that kind of attitude, right? So
you also don't want them playing too tight, playing not to make errors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's part of the problem this season. Again, there's pressure. And then when you're not performing well, you want to perform so well that you try even harder. It's wild because sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't lead to the best results. And then sometimes you go out and you hit 4 goddamn home runs in a game. So it can go either way.
After people were like, do we have the DFA conversation?
Do we do this again?
He hit more home runs than letters in DFA.
That's a bar. That's a bar right there. All right, what else we got?
Said stick it. Ernesto for the mailbag in the chat says, hypothetical for all of us. Would you include Tim Tawa in a hypothetical, Ryan Helsley trade? I bet the Cards, or rather Cards fans, would want Lawler or Groover, but that's beside the point.
Yes, I would. And I think at the with the situation the Diamondbacks are in this year is they have a lot of guys that won't be part of this team next season, right? You locked up Ketel Marte. You got some questions about where some of these young guys are going to play, right? So again, the fact that Tim Tawa has major league experience and has been experienced success at a major league level, but the Diamondbacks will probably, obviously send him back down. Maybe they keep him as a utility out infielder and DFA Hampson. But, again, there's going to be a change here when Ketel Marte comes back, and that does make Tim Tawa a little expendable, right? I'm not big on ever trading any future pieces of this team simply because the Diamondbacks are a franchise that need to build from their farm system. That's the only way that they're going to be able to find success is to not only, develop these guys and have them come up, be an asset at a major league level, but also at times trade those assets for other pieces that can improve the major league club. The Diamondbacks are in a win now mode. So bringing on someone like Ryan Helsley makes a lot of sense. And I don't want to sacrifice or mortgage too much of the future. This might be a time, though, that I'd be willing to part ways with a guy that, again, has shown some promise at a major league level. It's not easy to get called up and do what Tim Tawa has done. So, again, he seems like the kind of guy that could really develop into one of those players that you regret trading down the line. Unfortunately, Diamondbacks don't have a lot of time with 4 really good players on their roster right now. So they kind of have to do everything they can to solidify this bullpen closer situation and, make this team a winner. Ryan Helsley's elite. That's the thing that makes the difference there is he's elite. But there's also this curse of this team. So he'll probably come over here and have a 4.5 ERA. What else? I'm broken. Don't expect me to have a very positive outlook at times when it comes to bringing pitchers to this team. What else we got, Kev?
Last, but certainly not least, the basketball and football guy wants to know, Derek, will you die? He did correct that to DYE. Your beard on camera when Gino hits his 40th home run, parentheses, you can always just do it now since we all know it's going to happen, end parentheses.
No, I don't. Much like the cactus light, I don't think I can give you the satisfaction of actually seeing me dye it on camera. Besides, I don't know. I don't want to do that because then I'm going to have to dye it here and I'm going to need a mirror. There's going to be stuff involved. We'll figure it out. It's going to be a messy process no matter how it happens, but it's not going to happen. So Gino's not going to hit 40 home runs.
What if they go 15 and 11 in April, Tanner says?
I already said that wasn't part of the deal, Tanner. I already said that. So anyway, we appreciate you guys so much for your questions. Of course, we appreciate you for being here. We will be back tomorrow with another post-game show, so make sure to join us for that after Game 1 of the Diamondbacks at the Mets. That'll be around like 7 p.m.-ish, so make sure to get your dinner in and join us for that. Also, we do have, I don't think we showed the probables, but I think the probables could be wrong because Piece of Yoshi in the chat was saying that Senga will not pitch in this series. So this is what the ESPN had, at least for this series. This is who the Diamondbacks have going. No surprises there. Erod in game 1, Corbin Burnes in game 2, Zach Gallen in game 3. Again, it just makes me sick that you can't look at a 3-man lineup against a team with Zach Gallen and Corbin Burnes in it and feel confident in your soul that they have a chance to win those games. But the Mets have been incredibly good at home. In fact, historic right now at 12-1 at home, and they have one of the best records, if not the best record in Major League Baseball. So it's going to be a tough task for the Diamondbacks. We will be here after game 1, so make sure to join us for that. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Kevin is at Kevo Posts. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate you stopping by. We will see you tomorrow for the post-game show. Until then, behave yourselves. Don't worry about the cactus light. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you can figure out a way to beat the best team in baseball right now.
We all silly like the mayor.